All right, so you want to learn Turkish. Awesome. But maybe you're feeling a little lost? Like, where do you even start? Well, if you've ever felt overwhelmed by it all, you have come to the right place. Today, we are laying out a super clear, actionable roadmap. This is for anyone who is serious about getting real results.
I mean, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you actually master a language like Turkish? You can see that finish line, fluency. But the path to get there, it's foggy. Should you download an app? Bury yourself in grammar books? Binge watch Turkish shows? It can seriously feel like you're just wandering around in a maze. So, the secret? It's having a plan, a really solid one. Think about it like you're building a house. You wouldn't just start throwing up walls randomly, would you? No, you need a blueprint, an architectural plan, and that is exactly what we're going to give you today, a disciplined, step-by-step roadmap for Turkish.
Okay, so here's the entire journey all laid out. We're going to break it down into 5 clear phases. We'll start with the absolute basics, the foundation, and build all the way up to real fluency. And the best part? Each phase flows right into the next. It just makes sense.
All right, let's dive into phase 1, your foundation. Look, the whole point of this first phase is to build momentum. It's all about getting some quick, easy wins. We're not trying to become fluent overnight. The goal here is to build your confidence in those crucial first few weeks. And your very first win? The alphabet. Now, this is awesome. Turkish uses the same Latin alphabet we do, just with 6 extra special letters. But here's the game changer, the part that's so cool. It's 100% phonetic. That means what you see is exactly what you say. No weird silent letters, no confusing pronunciation rules. There's also this beautiful concept called vowel harmony that gives the language its rhythm. So once you learn the sounds of the letters, you can literally read anything. That's a huge head start. And because the alphabet is so straightforward, you can start speaking from day 1. I'm serious. The goal is to get these core survival phrases down in your very first week. And let me tell you, there is no better feeling than being able to communicate even just a tiny bit right out of the gate. Okay, let's talk about the thing that scares a lot of people away, grammar. But here's the thing. In Turkish, it's not some scary monster. It's more like an engine. Yeah. It's built differently than the English engine, for sure, but it runs on an incredibly consistent and logical system. We just have to understand how it's designed. So check this out. This slide shows the single biggest difference, and it's actually pretty simple. In English, we say, I drink coffee. Subject, verb, object. In Turkish, the verb always gets kicked to the very end, so it becomes ben kahve içerim, which literally translates to I coffee drink. Once your brain gets used to that little flip, Turkish sentences suddenly start to click. And the second big idea is something called agglutination. It sounds super technical, I know, but the concept is actually beautiful. Instead of using a bunch of small, separate words like we do in English, in, my, from, Turkish just adds little pieces or suffixes onto the end of a main word. And here's a perfect example of what I mean. You start with the word ev, which means house. Simple enough. You want to say houses? You just add lar on the end, evlar. Now what if you want to say in my houses? You just add another piece, imde, to the end, and you get one single word, evlarimde. That means the whole phrase, in my houses. How efficient is that? It's like linguistic Legos, for real. Okay, so once you've got that basic structure down, we move into phases 3 and 4. This is where the fun really starts. We're talking about immersion. This is the point where Turkish stops feeling like something you study in a book and starts feeling like a living, breathing language. And one of my favorite ways to do this is what I call the TV series method. It's a 3-step process. First, just watch a show with English subtitles. Don't stress, just enjoy the story. Then go back and rewatch that same episode, but this time with Turkish subtitles on. Now your brain is connecting the sounds you're hearing with the words you're seeing. And finally, keep a notebook handy and jot down any new words or phrases you hear over and over. You'll be amazed at how quickly you start picking things up. But it's not just about watching TV. You have to activate what you're learning. Put on some Turkish music. Artists like Tarkan or Sezen Aksu are classics, and try to translate the lyrics. Hop on an app like italki or HelloTalk and find someone to chat with, even if it's just for 10 minutes a day. It makes a huge difference. And try writing just a couple of sentences in a journal each day about what you did. The point is to make your learning active, not just passive. And that brings us to the final phase, phase 5. This is the big one. This is the mental shift from just speaking Turkish to actually thinking in Turkish. It's less about memorizing new rules and more about, well, rewiring your brain's operating system to run on Turkish. So how on earth do you do that? It takes some deliberate practice. Start by just narrating your life to yourself, but in Turkish. I am walking to the kitchen, I'm making coffee, that is a blue car. Little things. A great trick is to change the language on your phone to Turkish. Yeah, it's going to feel weird and maybe a little frustrating at first, but forcing that kind of immersion is the absolute fastest way to get to real fluency. Now, all of this might sound like a lot, but it's totally achievable. It all comes down to one single thing: consistency. And listen, you do not need to lock yourself in a room for 5 hours a day. What you need is a simple, realistic daily plan that you can actually stick with. And if you can commit to just 1 hour a day, look at what you can achieve. In about 3 months, you'll be having basic conversations. After 6 months, your conversational skills will be pretty strong. And within a year, you can absolutely reach a comfortable level of fluency. These are real, tangible goals. And here's the secret sauce for that 1 hour. You have to keep it balanced. Spend about 15 minutes on each of the 4 core skills: vocabulary, grammar, listening, and speaking. Why is this so important? Because if you only work on grammar, you won't be able to understand anyone. If you only listen to music, you won't be able to form your own sentences. This balanced approach keeps everything moving forward together so you don't hit those frustrating plateaus. So there you go. That's the roadmap. A clear, step-by-step plan to take you from absolute beginner to a confident Turkish speaker. The path is set. The only real question left is, what are you going to learn in your first 15 minutes? Why not start right now?